Hi everyone. In this video I will be going over what's coming up in week 1, our first week of the course. So if you haven't already, please review the announcement I sent out earlier in the week, the Welcome to Words 1103 announcement, so you should be able to see that. And also make sure that you are subscribed to the Ask Professor forum. So to subscribe is very easy. You're just going to click this button until it is green. And then you will get emails, announcements that if any of your classmates have posted to this or asked a question, and when I also have responded to them. So as I said in the first announcement, this is helpful to look at your to-do list or your calendar, but I also suggest looking at the weekly module to get a kind of better overview of what you're doing day by day, so you can see the breakdown there. So everything that is listed for due on Monday, May 18th, is going to be due by 11:59 p.m. So you'll have a syllabus quiz, and this syllabus quiz is just to make sure that you're familiar with the course policies, and it brings you through that Start Here module. This module is a breakdown of our syllabus, so it takes you through piece by piece. So please make sure that you do that. And as I just showed you, subscribe to the Ask Professor forum. And then you're going to read this Burkean parlor metaphor, which acts as kind of a foundation for the way we approach the online discussions and also the research in the course. So please make sure you read through this. It's a very short paragraph, but it's a kind of famous metaphor for writing and research. And then the last thing that you'll do on Monday is post a discussion post about kind of an introduction of yourself and also responding to that parlor metaphor and the introduction to our book, Co-Intelligence. So what you'll do is just hit reply. And you'll want to tell us anything that you want to about yourself, to kind of introduce yourself to the class, what you thought about that parlor metaphor as a metaphor for writing, and then your reaction to the introduction, 3 Sleepless Nights in our book, Co-Intelligence. So you can see that this is the introduction with those numbered pages there. So remember, our book is under course materials, and so it's an ebook. So you should be able to access it and read through that there. If you have not gotten it or are having trouble accessing it, please let me know. And yeah, so you want to aim to write about 300 words in response to all 3 of those questions. And if you're comfortable, share a picture of yourself. Okay. So that's it for Monday, and then I'm not going to go through every single assignment for the rest of the week, but you can see how it is laid out. So you will respond to 2 people from the Introductions Forum. You can respond to any 2 people. Not everybody has to get a response. As long as you're responding to 2, you're fulfilling the assignment. So some people may have more responses than others, and that's okay. You're going to review the Parlor guidelines and then do Parlor 1. Okay, so Parlor 1, we're calling it this, you'll see from the parlor metaphor, is to read Chapter 1 and post a 300-word response. So the Chapter 1, again, is in our book, Co-Intelligence, available under the course materials. And so you're going to post a 300-word response. And you do not need to respond to all of these bullet points. You pick and choose which ones you want to respond to that help you write 300 words. So generally, students are responding to 1 to 3 bullet points in their parlor response. So then for Wednesday, you have an introduction to the rhetorical situation assignment. So this walks you through several steps, and you'll be turning in kind of proof of your work there. And then you have Parlor 2 on Thursday. So again, this is the parlors is reading in our book and responding. So it's the same setup. This time you'll read chapters 2 and 3. So you may want to get a head start on that reading on Wednesday, since you have a few more pages this time than you do the first 2 initial assignments, and it's the same bullet points. You pick any that help you write 300 words. And then finally on Friday, you're going to do a synthesis of Parlors 1 and 2. So you will look back over your classmates' responses to Parlors 1 and 2, and you will watch this tutorial and review the sample synthesis that I wrote, not in response to those two parlors, but in response to another discussion post. So this just gives you an example, and then you will do this. You will identify key terms, research topics, and at least 2 overarching themes from the Parlors 1 and 2, and then write your own synthesis. And please make sure that you are submitting everything listed here. So your key terms, your research topics, and your list of themes, and your 200-word synthesis, okay? So that takes us through to the end of week 1. So please let me know if you have any questions about the course. Please post them here, because if you have that question, other people probably have the same one. And otherwise, if there's anything else that you don't want to post in the Ask Professor forum, please feel free to email me. And just remember that it's most important that you stay on top of the work. Everything is broken down day by day, so there's nothing that you're working on behind the scenes. As long as you keep up with the homework, you will get the work of the class done. So just keep on top of it. It is more intense as a summer class, since we are squeezing kind of a whole semester into 5.5 weeks. So please just be diligent about staying on top of the work so that you're turning it in on time and getting full credit. And that's it. So I look forward to getting to know you all. Please contact me if you have any questions.